The Fwog, Pwince by K. Umansky. Chapter 4, in which promises are made.
As the golden ball sunk far out of sight, the princess began to cry bitterly. As she wept, a voice called out, "Don't cry, princess." And looking up, she saw an ugly frog stretching its head out of the water. "What will you give me if I bring your ball back from the bottom of the well?" he croaked. "Oh, anything, dear frog," replied the princess. "My pretty dress, my diamonds, even the crown on my head. Only bring my ball back to me." "I do not want those things," said the frog. "But if you promise to love me and let me be your playmate, to eat out of your plate, drink from your cup and sleep on your cushion, I will bring back your ball safely." And the princess promised.
In fact, Petulant didn't cry. What she did was, she had a temper tantrum. Like most spoiled people, she had them frequently when things didn't go her way. There she stood, screeching and waving her fists and kicking and shouting and generally carrying on disgracefully. She was making such a racket that she didn't even notice the small, green, anxious-looking frog with the tiny crown on its head that dragged itself up the rope and scrambled, gasping onto the wall with a wild croak of "Freedom!" She just carried right on screaming. Pipsqueak, of course, wasn't used to being ignored. "I say!" he shouted above the howls. "I say, Princess Petulant, I presume. I wonder if I could have a word. I'm in a spot of bother." Petulant stopped in mid-screech and stared around.
"Who's that?" she said. "Who spoke?"
"Me, over here, on the wall,"
"Yuck!"
said Petulant, spotting him.
"A yucky frog! Yuck! Go away!"
"Ah, you're wrong," explained Pipsqueak eagerly. "Look, I know I look like a frog, but in actual fact I'm Prince Pipsqueak from the kingdom next door. It's just that I have been enchanted by a witch. It's quite simple, really." Even as he said it, it sounded weak.
"Pull the other leg! It's got webs on!" said
Petulant rudely. "But it's true, I am. Look, I've got a crown."
"So what?"
said Petulant with a shrug.
"I've got hundreds. I've got loads of dresses too, and jewels. My father's going to be an emperor soon. Anyway, I don't believe a word of it. What's more, I don't like your tone of voice."
"Oh, for goodness sake, where's your sense of responsibility? I need a hot meal, a bath, and some warm clothing. Then you must put me in your pocket and take me to the proper authorities. I need to contact my parents immediately."
"Who says I must?" said
Petulant.
"What's in it for me? Well, I don't see why I should be bossed around by a frog. You've got a nerve. You're jealous because my dad's richer than your dad. You're after my dresses and my jewellery, aren't you? You'll be wanting to eat off my plate and drink from my cup and sleep on my cushion next. I know your sort."
"Look, are you deaf or something? I'm not a frog. I couldn't care less about your dresses. This is a crisis. I need help. Have mercy."
"No thanks. Never liked the stuff,"
said Petulant.
"I'm not the help-giving type. You got yourself into this fix. Now get yourself out of it. Unless—"
Her eyes narrowed craftily. "What?" said Pipsqueak. "Unless what?"
"Tell you what, pop down and bring my ball up, and I might think about it. Hurry up, I haven't got all day."
Being a princess, Petulant was used to giving orders. Being a prince, Pipsqueak wasn't used to taking them. "I'm not going back down there again," he said stiffly. Not for all the flies on a cowpat. Oh, no, listen to me. I'm even beginning to talk like a Fwog. Now, please, Petulant.
The ball,
said Petulant. But there are toads down there, big, rude, common ones. How would you like to be ridiculed by toads? I'm a Pwince.
the ball.
Said Petulant. No, it's dirty, it stinks. I won't,
Then stay a frog forever.
said Petulant with a shrug.
Why should I care? Goodbye.
Wait, all right, I'll get it. If I get your firm promise as a royal princess that you will help me.
I said I'd think about it, didn't I?
He shouldn't have trusted her, of course, but Petulant drove a hard bargain. There was nothing else for it but to fetch the golden ball. Muttering under his breath, Pipsqueak shinned down the rope, took a deep breath, and once again entered the cold, murky water. Down below, Arkle and Grummet were waiting for him to provide the second act of the comedy.
Any luck, Your Royal Highness?
Asked Grummet, helpless with wheezy giggles as Pipsqueak swam down into sight. Yes, if you must know, snapped Pipsqueak. We royals stick together. That's why we live in palaces and you live down wells. The princess has assured me of her assistance, so Yah-boo sucks to you. I'm just getting the ball as a favour. Crawler, said Urk. You won't get any thanks for it, agreed Arkle. You expect help from her up there? She don't know the meaning of the word. Remember when she promised you a box of dried mayflies for fetching that ruby ring up, Urk? Never got it, did ya? Did I, Eck? Growled Urk.
Never keeps her word, that one,
said Grummet sagely.
Take my advice, forget it, and stay a frog. It's not a bad life, is it, boys? Not as good as a toad's life, of course, but not bad. Find a nice female, settle down, have some tadpoles.
Look, just mind your own business, snarled Pipsqueak. He hopped over to the ball and began to wrestle it out of the mud. The toads sneered and nudged each other as he stretched his skinny little arms as wide as they would go, embraced the ball firmly, and gave a mighty heave. Out it came with a sucking plop. Pipsqueak staggered under the weight. Urk, Arkle and Grummet jeered and blew raspberries. Pipsqueak ignored them and kicked off. It was hard work this time. He didn't have his arms free. The weeds sucked at him, and the weight of the ball was trying to pull him back down again. The skipping rope was still out to get him, and so was the soldier. However, determination triumphed, and finally, with a last desperate kick of the legs, he broke through the scummy surface.
Have you got it?
Petulant called down. Her voice boomed eerily against the walls. Yes, I've got it. I'm coming up.
Just mind you don't splash my dress.
For the second time, Pipsqueak began to ascend the rope. Imagine trying to climb a rope with a beach ball filled with cement. He almost dropped the ball several times, but at last he managed to struggle to the top. There, he gasped. Satisfied? There's your silly old ball. Now kindly get me out of here.
Gracious, is that the time?
Said Petulant, snatching the ball from his webbed hands.
I thought I heard the dinner gong. Must go.
And off she ran. Pipsqueak was flabbergasted.
That was The Fwog Prince by K. Umansky. Read by John Wilders and Linda Francis. Music by Harry's Cupboard and the Child Piano Academy. This was a Ropemaker Theatre Company production.